Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me. I'm really excited about this video because it is the last day of the year. So this is going to be my final video of 2024 and it's going to be more of a fun video because I have a wish list that I would like to share with you. And I've never done a wish list video. I don't think so anyway. I've never done a wish list video, and the reason I wanted to do a wish list video is because when I found myself having a wish list, I stopped buying plants. I stopped buying them because they weren't on my wish list. And so I actually thought that this was a good way for me to actually focus on my plant collection a little bit differently. I have been bitten by the Anthurium bug, I will tell you that. So for the most part, I have my largest category is definitely Anthurium, but I don't want a whole bunch of them. I have a very short wish list actually. And I also wanted to update you on my plans for my outside garden Eden, and as well as for my collection, my indoor collection as well. Right now I have a list, but it is underneath one of my napping cats and I'm gonna have to wake him up. I really don't want to because this is Mr. Wild. But I have to. Okay, I know, honey. I know. This is S'mores. I don't think you've ever seen him in a video. Say hello. Say hello. I'm so sleepy and my mama is waking me up. Okay, I'm going to put you in a nice comfy spot, but I need that list you're sitting on. Okay, maybe I'll put you back. You want to go back? Here, you can go right back where you are. Because I just realized he was sitting in the sun. That's why he's sitting there. Okay. So if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I really, really love my Alocasia. My Alocasia plant collection really got big in 2024. And I love all of my Alocasia. But I think that for the coming year, I won't be collecting so many Alocasia. And for the Alocasia that I have now, I am going to allow them to go dormant in the colder months. Not all of them, because my jewel Alocasia, which are the smaller ones like the black velvet and the ninja, all of those plants are jewel Alocasias that can kind of grow into like a little ball kind of a formation. Whereas plants like my longiloba, my regal shield, they do so amazingly well outside in Eden, because they are in their element. They are allowed to get really big, and they get really big in my home, but because they are not in the ideal conditions, they tend to attract a lot of pests, spider mites. And so I've decided that going forward, well, I'm going to at least try it for this year. I'm going to cut them and let them go dormant for the winter months and then bring them back for the spring and keep them outside. I have been watching so many videos on allowing corms to go dormant and then coming back. And the one thing that keeps coming up in every video is that they come back bigger and better when they get a rest. And I know that with my original Mama Regal Shield, when she went dormant after having her for 3 years, she put out a whole bunch of blooms, stinky blooms. Their blooms stink. And then she went dormant. And when she came back as 4 heads instead of 1. And I said, wow, that's amazing. So I still have the plant, but it was allowed to go dormant. And so I think that's what I'm going to do going forward with my Alocasia collection. But as far as the plants that I have on my wish list, one of them I got, and I had it on my wish list when I started creating it because I didn't realize that I was able to save the one that I have. And that's my Alocasia Loco. She is in this prop box right here. And I dare not take her out because when I tell you this plant obviously needs a ton of humidity. I had it in my cabinet. It was getting dry tips even in the cabinet. But it is right here, right there. It's working on its second leaf, and I'm so happy to have it. I'm going to show you a picture of it as a full-grown plant because it is so beautiful, very quirky, very whimsical, which I love. And I'm sorry, my lighting is changing all over the place because I'm really not recording at a very good time of day, but you know, with daylight savings, it's kind of hard to know when that is. But back to my loco. My loco, I was able to save. I just took the chunk because the chunk had rotted away. I cut it and I just put it into the prop box. And I said, well, if something happens, it happens and I'll be happy. And it just so happens that it came back. And so I was just so happy about that. And I am going to keep her nice and happy. So she was on my wish list. She's at the top of my wish list because I've wanted her for so long. But I have her, as it stands, I have that part of my wish list. And when it comes to my contrasting plants that are my wish list in my dreams, which I will more than likely not be acquiring this year or next year, the only alocasia I have on that wish list is the venom alocasia. Oh, now that's a beautiful plant. It is beautiful. It is so incredibly, the whimsy on that one is so beautiful. And it is, people say that it's more, I don't even know how they call it. They use negative terms I don't like to use. It's just extreme. It's an extremely serious looking plant, but at the same time, it's very whimsical. And so I really like it. But that is one that is in my dreams on my wish list. Okay, now we can go down to, I'll go down to Begonia because I only have one Begonia on my wish list. And the Begonia that I have on my wish list is a Begonia luxurians. Oh, they're so beautiful. They are so beautiful. I love that plant so much. And I am hoping to be able to just end up with one of those, even if I can just get someone to share a leaf with me, because Begonia, they will grow so easily, but you just have to get the plant. I haven't been able to locate this plant. I'm sure I can order it online. I'll more than likely have to order it online, but as it stands, I haven't been able to find one. And even my loco, I did have to order that one online. I ordered it from Greenscapes, I believe it is. I'll put the right name on the screen. I was able to order it from them, but it was just a sprouted corm. And so it's just been, and I've had it for quite some time. It's probably been about 5 months that I've had that plant, and I've just been struggling with it. It actually may be a little bit longer than 5 months now that I think about it. It's just been struggling because it was very, very, very young when I got it, and it was just not ready to be shipped. But anyway, I still have it and I'm happy that I do. So that is my one and only Begonia wish list. Now in my dreams wish list for my Begonia, it is the plant called the Darth Vader Begonia. And that's another beautiful one. Oh, it's so pretty. I've heard tell that it is a very sensitive plant to keep alive, but I'm okay with terrariums. And I like my terrarium plants that I have right now. I have quite a number of my Begonia in terrariums because they just do better with all of that humidity and they're worry free. So I would be perfectly okay with that. But that is in my dreams wish list plant when it comes to Begonia. Okay, now going on to Anthurium. I have definitely been hit by the Anthurium bug, but I will say my wish list is small. In general, it is very small because, in my opinion, to my untrained, unseasoned Anthurium eye, Anthurium look a lot alike, especially when they're babies. But when they get older, to me, you can change the setting or the lighting for your plant and you can end up with a very different looking leaf. And so I don't have a large wish list for my Anthurium as much as one of them I already have, and I have it because Jackie was able to help me out, Jackie from Latina Plants, and I watch videos on Anthurium and I look and I say, wow, that is a beautiful collection. It's beautiful. I love this plant. I love that plant. One of the plants that always stick out to me are the Dock Block plants. And the Dock Block Michelle, as many of you know, were in Home Depot, but they didn't go to every store. I searched and searched and searched, but Jackie was able to find some in her area and she offered to get it for me. I sent her the money so that she can get it for me, and I never thought I was going to end up with a dock block because, of course, in traditional nurseries, they're so expensive. And I like to keep my collection at a place where if I lose a plant, I am not devastated because I spent so much money on it. And so because they did have them in my nursery that I love to go to and look at plants, but they were hundreds. The plants were hundreds of dollars. And so there was just no way, absolutely no way. But she was able to get me a plant. I haven't shared it with you and I'll show it to you while I'm telling you why I didn't share it. Here she is. And this is her newest leaf that she came out of nowhere with. When I tell you this leaf came out of nowhere, I am floored that it's even here right now. And you see how big it is? This is the leaf right before it. Okay, I'm trying to give you a right size comparison. And then this is the newest one. When Jackie sent this to me, there were 2 plants in the pot and she wanted one of the plants. She has a video on it and she wanted one of them. And so she separated them out and repotted them. And Anthurium can be kind of sensitive with the traveling through the mail. And so when this one right here came to me in the mail, I was so heartbroken. It was just like, blah. It was so sad. And she packed it like it was in an iron tank. There was all of this heat wrapping around it, and the paper that it was wrapped like it was in a tank. But there was just too much that happened to it beforehand, and so it just went into shock. It had a bloom in the center and it aborted the bloom. And I said, when plants abort a bloom, they are about to just start cutting up. And she does have some of her leaves that are definitely going to come off, but thus far they have not. So and they're the really low leaves down there, not any of the larger ones. And again, she did nothing the entire time that I've had her. And then Jackie asked me one day, how is your plant doing? How is my Michelle doing? And I'm like, oh, she's good. She's popped back up and she wasn't doing anything, nothing. And I'm talking nothing. There was no little nib, nothing. And I was not touching her. I just had her in my cabinet. When Jackie got her, she cleaned her so nicely. And so when she got here, I made sure everything was fine with her and I put her right into my cabinet. And I have been giving her the best conditions I possibly could because I really didn't want to lose her because I really love this plant. And I just can't imagine I'd ever have an opportunity to have another one like this one. And so, I mean, look at these beautiful pink veins. How couldn't I want this one? Oh, she's so pretty. Anyway, she came out of nowhere and I just saw her one morning with a little tiny nub of a leaf. And I said, oh, she has a leaf coming out. And I was so happy. Within the next 4 days, the leaf was extended and growing. It was just a little, and I said, whoa, now that, I didn't expect it to grow so quickly because normally my Anthurium don't grow that quickly. This one exploded with growth, and I am going to try to get the message that Jackie sent me, because I'm telling you, it was maybe 2 days after she sent me that message that this thing just exploded. It's almost like it heard me talking about it, and it just did the most. So I should put both leaves in the anyway, this plant just exploded with growth. I don't know this plant, so I don't know if it's completely done, as much as there is a caterpillar back here with another leaf poking out. And so if this thing grows, the second one grows like this one did, I don't even know what to expect of this plant. I am so happy to have it. I am so happy that Jackie was able to help me to get this one, because I mean, every single day I was looking for this plant, but obviously everyone was, because to find one of these in a big box store was just unheard of. So yes, I was able to find one, and Rosalind was asking me, well, did you ever find your, and there's like, no, it never came. Well, it did come to the state that I live in, but the only store that I've heard that people found them, and there were only 2 in the store, not like with Jackie's store that had a whole bunch of them. It was almost an hour away. Not almost an hour away. It's an hour and 15 minutes away. So I said, I'm not going down there. And there's only 2 plants because everyone wants them. And it was posted on social media so that people could find them. So yeah, anyway, so I'm taking forever to say this was on my wish list to have a dock block, and this one right here fulfilled it. So I don't have her on my wish list anymore, but she is still a wishy, and I wanted to share that with you. And I would love to be able to grow these out really big. I mean, you look at the size of this thing right here. This is a really big leaf to emerge just after all that she went through with me and after aborting her bloom. So I'm just so happy. I don't, like I mentioned, I don't have a ton of Anthurium on my wish list because I would just like to really focus on the ones that I'm really, really checking on so that they can grow out and be nice and big, and I will have room for them. I have actually it's in here if I'm not mistaken, in with my logo. This might be my War Recriana that I did terribly with, but then I put her in here. Oh, she has fuzzy roots and a new leaf coming in. I put her in here. Her little stem was probably about that big. And I said, well, all I can do is put it into a prop box and see if it works. And she has those 2 leaves now. So by the time I grow her out and this one and the others that I have, because you know, I think I have maybe 5 other different varieties. I don't feel that I need a whole bunch of them. My first Anthurium outside of my Andreanum or the Flamingo Anthurium, which I still haven't found the Rainbow Anthurium Andreanum, but I have my Crystallinum that Carol sent me. It was, yeah, the Crystallinum is the one that she sent me, and that was a plant that I always looked at people's collections, and it was always a staple in the collection, and I just thought it was beautiful. And so that one is again one that I just want to allow to grow out bushy, and I'm looking forward to that in 2025. Where's my list? Okay, now as far as in my dreams wish list plant, there is I believe it's a King Ace of Spades with the pink veining, kind of like this Michelle, that is on in my dreams wish list plant because it is so expensive that I would just like to admire it from a distance. And that one is beautiful. It's in my dreams wish list plant. But on my actual wish list is the Veitchii. The Veitchii is so beautiful, and I am particularly keen on the Veitchii with the narrow ribs. Wow, that's a beautiful plant. That is a beautiful plant. And again, these are all plants that if you are growing them nicely and letting them grow out the way they need to, they are going to grow big. And so I don't need to have a whole bunch, to me, I don't need to have a whole bunch of Anthurium. And so I have that one on my list. I had the strappy Anthurium. I killed it, and I didn't know that I didn't actually kill it until I actually killed it. Like when I learned that those things will come back, no matter what, those things will come back. But now that I'm not really checking for that one anymore right now, as much as I have another one that is growing long straps, that it's a baby now, but it is growing really beautifully. And so I don't feel that I need another strappy, because the Veitchii, the War Recrianum, and the one I have downstairs, I believe it's called the Ballatus. There's another name that it goes by as well, but those are all very strappy, and I would like to be able to really enjoy them. So I'm not really looking to have a whole bunch of the strappy ones, especially not strappy leaves that need to be in a cabinet, because that wouldn't work out. Okay, now you might laugh at this last one that I have because it is such a common plant. I mean, it is a common plant. It is a common plant. It is a Pathos Global Green. Yes, I have a huge Pathos Global Green, but I cannot get this plant to keep its variegation. And when I tell you I try and try and try, I don't know if it's too much sun, too little sun. It was sitting, my Pathos were sitting in this window. It was doing great, growing very quickly, but it loses its variegation. And then Rosalind sent me a small snippet of a global green, and I said, perfect, it has beautiful variegation. I'll change the location, and I put it in a little bit less light, but it still reverted on me. So that is one of my my wish list plants for this year, to have a global green that keeps its variegation. As it stands, I have not been successful, and I have propagated and propagated and propagated, but they all end up just being green, dark green with green variegation. So, but I wanted to have that stark contrast that they have when they are in the nurseries. And the way it came to me from Rosalind, it was just so beautiful. The contrast of the variegation was amazing. And that is what I'm looking for. So that's it. Those are all of the plants that I have been checking on for next year. Again, I am going to go in with my plant collection, doing much of what I did for the balance of this year, where I am going to be really focusing on caring for the plants that I have. I have downsized my collection quite a bit, because when you have people come over and they're like, oh, I like that plant, it's like, oh, take it with you, I have plenty. So it's not to say that I have been downsizing, like, okay, I have too many plants, I'm going to downsize, as much as when you share a plant, a shared plant is a happy plant. It's always better. So I have been downsizing in that direction. And I have not, like I said, when I was on the hunt for this Michelle, I was not purchasing any plants. I would go into the store, see so many beautiful plants, and it was just, but it's not what I'm looking for. And so I stayed focused. And I think that having that focus going forward is going to work out as well. So that was it. For Eden, I mentioned the fact that I'm going to try to grow a whole bunch of my houseplants in ground and just let them be my springtime plants out in Eden. And all of the plants that I propagated, all of them are doing really well, with the exception of one. There was one that dried out in the pot, but then the stem is still good. And so I think it'll come back. And then I have a number of plants. My son, I mentioned that he would be doing a project for school, and I was able to get some Anthurium for him to bring back, because on one of the local Facebook groups that I'm a part of, I asked if anyone had dying or severely hit Anthurium that they would be willing to share for this project. And I got quite a few of them, and 2 of them I believe are crystallinum. They didn't have an ID tag on them, and the person didn't really know what it was. And then one of them, I'm not really sure what it is, but the leaf has since died back, and it has a new leaf that it's working on. So I will share those with you, or maybe he'll share them with you in his project. Every day he just goes through and he checks to see how they're doing, and he records it for his report. So this one over here is right back to sleeping. Other than that, I would show you some of them. They're right in this case that my kitten is sleeping on, but I'm not going to move him again. I have already moved him. So that is what we will be working on. So, and then on top of that, my indoor garden is something that I have been working on. I mentioned before, I've been watching Irene on her garden tours in Malaysia, and Mona was the one who remembered the name of the person, so I was able to look her up. So I will try to post her video down below. But creating an indoor oasis is something that I have really been focusing on. This area where I am, this is my plant window, south-facing window. And obviously this is huge and it's ready to be filled with plants. But this area right here is where I am focusing my attention on having just that garden oasis that I've been seeing there, because with the daylight savings, it can become really difficult when there's so little light. But when I look at my plants, it just makes me feel so good. And I popped some plants here that I never thought that were going to do well over here, but they are doing so beautifully. And I'm really happy about that. And I can't wait to share that with you. So I look forward to sharing all of those updates with you in the coming months. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any of the plants for my wish list on your wish list, or in my dreams wish list, please jot them down below and let me know what you would like to have in your plant collection for the coming year. And even if I don't have it in my wish list, I would love to hear what your wish list is. I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye, guys.